someone in the crowd hollers out, "Hey, preach it, brother." Is it because they like the preacher? Or because he said something that they liked? Is it the man? Or is it the word? This is Barry Phillips, a 10-minute Torah, day number 3, the Torah portions, Chukat and Balak, double Torah portion. Let's continue now in the book of Numbers, Bamidbar, chapter number 20. Verse 10 and following says, "And Moshe and Aaron assembled the assembly before the rock, and he said to them, 'Hear now, you rebels, shall we bring water for you out of this rock?' And then Moshe lifted his hand and struck the rock twice with the rod. Much water came out, and the congregation and their livestock drank. But Yahweh spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, 'Because you did not believe me to set me apart in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore you do not bring this assembly into the land which I have given to them.'" If you go back to chapter 20, verse 5, the people are not only complaining about water, but they're saying, you brought us to this evil place. There's no grain, figs, vines, pomegranates. There's no water to drink. In other words, all of the produce of the land that you have promised that we'd eventually get to, we hadn't seen any of that around here. Granted, this is a people that are disgruntled in that they're not going into the land themselves. Their children are. And the issue is that as this generation is dying off, there's some frustration. How long is this going to take? Yes, I know it's 40 years, 38, 39 years that they actually went around the mountain. But this is bad, and we're frustrated. Besides that, we're thirsty. Where is the water? Moshe gets angry, but notice that it's Moshe that's angry. Yah's not angry with the people. Yah did not say in this instance, "Stand aside, Moshe, you and Aaron both, and I'm going to wipe them out." He could have, but he didn't. Why? Because there was a legitimate need here. There was no water. Now, as we said yesterday, it very well could be that since Miriam died, no one was prophesying to the rock and about the rock, and the revelation of Messiah Yeshua dried up, so then did also the waters that represented him. Moshe is given an opportunity here to do what his sister Miriam was doing. Let me speak to you about this rock. And perhaps that's what Yah was saying. Moshe, you pick up the slack. You pick up the place where Miriam was operating in and demonstrate it again before the people. Perhaps it would have been, if you do this, it will teach the people that if they will proclaim the rock that is in their midst, the waters will continue to flow. Moshe, this could be your chance to teach them something. The issue became personal, evidently, with Moshe. He's angry. It's obvious. You bunch of rebels. We've not really heard this kind of talk out of Moshe before. Maybe the closest is in the day of Korach's rebellion, where he complained to the heavens, "I haven't taken so much as a shoelace from these people. I haven't defrauded them." Maybe it was in that if the earth opens up and swallows them, you'll know that I'm true here and that I've done what's right. Perhaps the frustration of the years is beginning to wear on him a bit. But let's not fault Moshe too badly, because after all, he is not that much different than us other than the fact of the day and circumstance he lived in. He's a human being after all. Add to that, it's very likely that Moshe is still grieving. His sisters died. Maybe he's frustrated that it doesn't outright state that the congregation mourned the death of Miriam. It's like she died and nobody paid attention. Maybe he's a bit angry that she's gone and life is going on as normal for everybody Okay, Miriam died. We buried her. What's next? Life doesn't always work that way. Grief is a process you have to work through. I can tell you from personal experience, after my father passed away, it drains you. It grinds on you. That first year is a bear, man. It's tough. And afterwards, you have to come to a place to where you can find, this is where I pick up and start putting my life back together, acknowledging the void, but not allowing the void to pull me into it to where I don't function any longer. Not an easy thing to do. So for anyone in our audience today that is still grieving, it does take time. You will get through it. It is a tough job, but Yah will help you. Nevertheless, Miriam's gone. The need of the congregation, however, is right here, right now. And Yah has instructed him, go back to the rock. When the problems arise, that's our answer. Go back to the rock. Now that's common preaching, perhaps. And you've heard it a kabillion times. Go back to the rock. However, instead of exalting the revelation of Yeshua as the rock and the living water from the rock, as Miriam had done, Moshe makes this a personal, angry issue. He gets water out of the rock. After he hit it the first time and nothing happened, there should have been perhaps a bell going off in his mind. Ding, ding, ding. Maybe I need to back up here. But he didn't. His emotions, evidently, in my perspective, got the best of him, and he hit the rock twice. Yah met the need of the people, but then Moshe had to pay the price. There's a verse that speaks to this. In the book of Philippians, Rav Shaul is writing, and he says in verse number 15, chapter 1, verse 15, some indeed proclaim Messiah even from envy and strife, but some also out of pleasure. The former announce Messiah from selfish ambition and not sincerely, thinking to add distress to my chains. There are those who proclaim Messiah out of contention. By that I mean they are proclaiming Messiah. They're given a revelation of Yeshua, but it's not out of compassion for the people. It's looking for an advantage. Years and years ago, many years ago, when I was young, green, and beginning in the pastorate, I had a dear friend who held a different opinion than I did. His opinion was, I'm called, I'm anointed, I'm credentialed and licensed, I have sermons to preach. And I'm going to look for the best opportunity, the best church that I can find to exercise my calling and gifting and give them the word that I have. And so, if it pays better, it's in a better city, better location, then that's what I'm going to ask for. My thought process, and I'm not saying he was right and I'm wrong or vice versa. I'm called, I'm anointed, I have a word to preach, and I'm going to believe Yah to put me where he wants me. He ended up with better churches, circumstances-wise, than I did on many occasions. We both had our challenges. We remained as friends, but we had a different way of going about it. He looked for the best opportunity. I trusted God to supply the opportunity. Is he wrong and I'm right? I can't say that. Some folks, however, will preach the gospel and declare the kingdom to their own best advantage. And it's about them. It's not about the people necessarily. And it's not about the one that they're preaching about necessarily. It's about their betterment. Let's give Yah an opportunity to work through us with humility and sincerity, offering to him a servant's heart, and let him do his work through us. Speak easy and strike less. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, shalom.